Then behold!
So it's a new week and new lore decks. As always, I'm Al, this is the Geek in Review. I'm going to be talking about Star Trek Lore Decks Season 3 Episode 2, The Least Dangerous Game. So if you haven't seen it, this will contain spoilers, but I'll give you a warning before they pop up. So yeah, kind of an unexpected episode. There's some aspects to this that lean quite heavily into another known franchise that's recently had a movie released, and the stories kind of feel a little bit disjointed in this episode as well. I mentioned in my last review, which if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. I'll leave a link at the end of this video, and like and subscribe as well. But yeah, I said in that first review that I think there was a lack of energy in the first episode, and it sort of feels the same here. It's very much a Mariner and boimler focused episode, although Rutherford does take part in the story a little bit, so does Tendi. The rest of them aren't really in it other than Ransom. Now, I'm not saying it's a necessarily bad episode. I did enjoy it and it is always fun. I just think, well, I'll get to my point in the rest of this video, so it is going to be spoilers from here on out. So we knew he was coming back, and we get Klingons and the original recipe Klingons, well, not the original recipe, the next generation original recipe Klingons, and a famous one, Martok, but although it's the same actor, it's not actually Martok himself. The guys are playing a Dungeons & Dragons style Klingon game. And yeah, this to me works because there have been Klingon computer games based in the Star Trek universe. If you haven't heard of them, you're either too young or you weren't that into computer games because they were absolutely terrible. I played one called Klingon Academy, I think it was, and yeah, it just wasn't great. But anyway, and after all the kerfuffle in episode 1 that the gang missed out on, everything in the ship seems relatively back to normal. And we're not only getting Klingons in this episode, we're also getting one of my favourite Star Trek species, the Bolians. And why do I like them, you say? Well, the truth is they've been around for years and years and we literally know nothing about them. No Trek show has really told us anything other than where they come from. There's a bank on Boleus, and I think there's a few references here and there to their odour in Star Trek Voyager. So I was hoping that this episode of Lore Decks was going to give us a bit more depth and a bit more background on the species. Not really, but we do sort of see a lot of Bolians, at least in one scene. Oh, and by the way, the reason that there's Bolians in it is Boimler is jealous that some guy that he knows is now a captain, and that guy's a Bolian. Whatever, you know, he's called Vendom, and Tendi points out that Vendom ticks all the boxes to be captain, whereas Boimler is playing it safe. And I don't think this is a direct nod to that TNG episode Tapestry, because there's no time travel element to it. I just think it's something in the character that they're trying to explore. And as for the rest of the episode, the ship's on a mission to help rescue a planet, and we sort of get those space tether lifts from that episode of Voyager that was crap with Tuvok and Neelix. And Mariner doesn't end up getting the mission she wanted, while Billups and Rutherford are sent down to the planet to have all the fun, well, of course, until it does go wrong. And it's not going that well with Ransom and Mariner either, so is this story about using your resources or putting your places or people in the correct places? Not really. Mariner being Mariner decides to take things into her own hands and goes down to the planet to try and save Rutherford and Billups when everything goes wrong. And we see the orbital parachute jump from the 2009 Star Trek film. We'd seen it in the trailers, and it isn't really the reference that a lot of people will be hoping for. I think a lot of people were suspecting it was going to be something that was getting played out in the holodeck and a bit more of a nod to the Kelvinverse. But hey, you get to see it twice at least, so that's something. Now, going back to Boimler, the episode's a bit heavy with the fact that he's directionless. To me, it seems that this should have been a storyline or a story arc for season 1 of the character, as him realising that he needs to network to get places should be something that came up earlier, at least beyond season 3. Maybe that's just me, let me know what you think in the comments below. So in order to try and further his career, he basically becomes a yes man on the ship and ends up doing some rather unique ship pastimes. One of which involves him being hunted by an alien, so hence the least dangerous game. And this is where the episode does get very interesting for me, because there are loads of nods to the Predator franchise in the first Predator film here. I mean, you can spot them all. It's just a little bit weird and late timing that Prey came out about a month ago and this episode is now following up. But even the music sounded very much like Predator. I can't post it here for copyright reasons, but if you listen to the bit where Boimler's getting chased through the corridors, that is totally the Predator soundtrack. And yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I like that they referenced another franchise and it wasn't tied into the Star Trek world. And by that I mean Boimler had no idea what the film Predator was, or that this was supposed to be something like Predator. Just to clear that up. But the rest of the story, Ransom and Mariner end up learning to work together and save the day. And yeah, this was okay. It wasn't my favourite storyline ever in Lower Decks. I probably would have been a little bit more interested if you'd seen things from Billups and Rutherford's point of view a little bit more, because it's kind of hard to care about that story when you're only seeing it on a view screen. This is an animated show, so it's not like they need to build sets, they can just show us the planet. So it was a little bit of a letdown for me. Now, the first 2 episodes of this show haven't been great. I've still really enjoyed them. It's certainly not Picard Season 2, but at the same time it doesn't feel like Lower Decks Season 1 and 2. There's been a sort of energy flow or pace that's missing for me from the first 2 episodes. But the storylines in these episodes worked for me, it's just that I didn't particularly find the one interesting and the other one took a little bit of time to take off. It does feel a little bit to me like this season they're focusing more on the characters than the jokes, and maybe that is just after doing 10 weeks of Orville the New Horizons reviews, which you can also get a link to at the end of this video. But yeah, it just seems they're not leaning that heavily into the silliness. Yeah, it's not that it's not there, the show's still funny, it's just not as outrageous as it used to be. A lot of the stuff in this episode I like, the Dungeons and Dragons game, the Predator stuff. I always like to see Ransom, because my god, does Jerry O'Connell ever nail that role. And I do hope we get to see him do his version of it when they do the crossover, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this is a kind of short review because I've not got a lot to say about this episode. There wasn't a huge range of characters or anything like that featured, but I still kind of liked it. I didn't hate it, so I suppose that that's a thing. But what's important is let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, you can follow me and reach out to me on Twitter at The Geeks Reviews. That's all the one word. If you've made it this far, please leave a like on the video and subscribe as always. I'm going to be covering the Lord of the Rings show when that starts tomorrow, and then we've got House of the Dragons on Sunday as well. As always, I'm Al, thanks for watching.